If you've been apartment hunting, this might look familiar. I found dozens of postings on Facebook that specifically spell out that your record at the Housing Tribunal may impact your ability to get a place. Housing advocates say this tactic isn't new, but landlords are being more open about it. Question is this legal? The short answer is no. However, checking records at the TAL is completely legal, and the majority of them are public. The TAL is there to enforce housing law. It's essentially there to protect your rights, but it could be used against you if, for example, a landlord wanted to check your history with the TAL.
They're discriminating against people who have, for instance, refused an abusive rent increase. They're using it against people who have brought their landlord to the tribunal because their apartment was falling apart and the landlord is refusing to do work.
Using this information to discriminate against a potential tenant is against the law. However, proving it is difficult, and holding landlords accountable in this system is virtually impossible.
We do have to be conscious of, if you enact a law and say it's illegal and you can get damages, that's all well and good. But in the past 30 years, just a few hundred people have ever taken this claim to court. So, it doesn't statistically work. So we need to find a new way of dealing with this issue.
The TAL confirmed your record is permanent and public. The Quebec Landlords Association says checking with TAL is recommended both to protect their property and the rights of neighbors.
Of course, the landlord has to make sure that the case is relevant to the decision of renting or not. But it is really important, not only for the landlord, but also for the future neighbor of that candidate.
Housing advocates say it's not that simple given the balance of power.
It's not the same thing, unfortunately. We are desperate and we will take apartments that are too expensive, that have landlords that have histories of illegal rent jacking, harassment, even like criminal activities.
Tenants' rights groups also have concerns that given the housing crunch, openly referencing a TAL record in a listing could prevent people from filing complaints.
The docket is essentially being used as a blacklist.
So what can you do? If you suspect you're facing discrimination based on your TAL record, lawyer David Searle says you can test the theory. Have a friend, call the landlord, and see if the place is still available. If a landlord flat out refuses a tenant with a TAL record, you can file a complaint. Given how hard it is to find a place in this economy, there are calls for the TAL to reform its practices and make tenants' names anonymous.